Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming Sanjay Maruta, President and CEO of Micron. April Arneson, Senior Vice President and Chief People Officer of Micron. Melanie Littlejohn, Vice President, Customer and Community Engagement, National Grid. Tim Penix, Vice President and Director of SUNY EOC. Ryan McMahon, Onondaga County Executive. And please join us in welcoming the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Kathy Hochul.
Thank you very much. Am I still in Albany? The first place I came when I was liberated from the budget process was my home away from home for 4 years of college, but a place that I cherish. And I'm so happy to be back here for 1,000 reasons, but when you wake up and you know you're going to Syracuse and you say it's going to be a great day, how do you spell a great day in Syracuse? M-I-C-R-O-N. Anytime we connect this great community to this great company, you know great things are going to happen. So I'm really excited to be here, and I want to welcome all of you to some fabulous announcements, and this is just a continuation. We are all together for the major announcement last fall, and with President Biden and our Majority Leader, Senator Schumer, and all these elected officials. It was a great time, but it seems like every other week there's something great happening here connected to Micron. I do want to welcome all of you, but also our county executive is here. You'll be hearing from him in a couple moments. Ryan McMahon, thank you for your seminal role in making this deal get closed. Thank you. Of course, I'll be introducing Sanjay in a couple minutes, so we're going to hold on that. Hope Knight, the Commissioner of Empire State Development, she is the deal maker of all deal makers, and I want to thank her and her extraordinary team, and Kevin Eunice, who is the COO of Empire State Development, put their heart and soul in making this happen, and they still haven't stopped smiling since then, and that is a good thing. I want to give an extra shout out to Greg Lensett, the President of the Central New York Building Trades. You know, when you're doing your negotiations, and you're having conversations about just a few more things that need to be dealt with. You know, if we just get this over the finish line, and we've got some challenges here, well, let's get Greg on the phone and he'll solve it for us, and he did. And I want to thank him for making it happen. I can't wait to see thousands of union workers building an extraordinary building that's going to be going on for his children born today can be working there 20 years from now, and that's what gets me so excited. So let's give a round of applause to Greg Lensett as well. Rob Stinson, the President and CEO of Center State, another driving force behind this. You'll always have this as part of your legacy. And Randy Wolkin, I want to thank him for joining us here as well, making sure we're focusing on manufacturing. But I have extraordinary partners in Albany, and I think they're just as happy to be here as well, joining me at this event. They represent this area with such heart and conviction and passion. I want to first of all give a shout out to Senator John Mannion is here. Senator Rachel May has joined us. Assemblymember Al Sturpey is here. Anybody miss anybody? All right. Well, this is an exciting day, and you think about the history of innovation. People will be looking back at this time, but we look back a little bit further. 200 years ago, we talked about the Erie Canal. How bold and audacious was that when a bunch of people got together and said, why don't we dig a ditch across the entire state of New York, and maybe we can make this little village called New York City become something better than it is. And the vision that brought that to our state and executed, and it was actually a governor, DeWitt Clinton, who worked with the idea that was originated by someone who was in jail. Do you know that story? Jesse Hawkins? Another day, I won't tell you all my stories. I've got a lot of stories. But he asked President Jefferson for help building this. And President Jefferson told people that he thought the governor was so crazy that he should be locked up for this idea that you could create a ditch, create a canal, create a pathway of commerce. I feel like we have those same challenges here today. We build on the innovation, Carrier Corporation, all the people, companies like JMA, but now, talk about next level. And Micron, no matter where I go in the state of New York, people know the name, they know the impact, and they know the possibilities. I'll be giving a speech in New York City, heart of Manhattan. All the movers and shakers down there, and they're saying, so when is Micron opening? What's going on with Micron? Can we get a piece of the action? So this is not just, I know it's special to us here in Syracuse and Onondaga County and Central New York and upstate, but this is something that all people in New York State are so proud of. And so we are on the cusp of a great era, and to have this investment, and I'm going to say it again because I was being introduced at a big speech in New York. Actually, it was on an event with all the governors across the state, and I was being introduced by the White House. And the White House economic advisor said, yeah, there's a big project up in, the governor worked on a big project. It's $20 billion in upstate. I corrected him. I said, 20 billion? It's $100 billion. Don't sell me short here. So he goes, oh, I'm embarrassed, Governor. I didn't want to understate that it's $100 billion, 50,000 jobs. So we are making history. And we had to do our part as well. We were brought to the table after the CHIPS and Science bill. And again, thank you, President Biden and Majority Leader Schumer, once again, Senator Gillibrand, our federal partners, for making that happen. But in order to position New York to get the competitive advantage, because that was a nationwide program, we had to step up. And again, applaud our legislators for what we did at the end of session last year with our own Green Chips program to give an extra incentives, but also to have our values as part of that program. So what that means is we value our people, we value our communities, we value giving opportunity to people in underserved communities who've been waiting their entire lives to have someone reach out and give them a hand, give them hope, training for our young people, working with our teachers unions and our educators to make that happen. So we said we can do this, but that's part of the deal. We'll give you assistance, but we want that kind of commitment. But for a company like Micron, it wasn't even a heavy ask because those are already their values. That's in their DNA as a company. So when we ask for all this kind of help, it's like, of course we'll do it. I wish more companies were that enlightened. And I think you're leading the charge, Sanjay. I really do. I think you're setting the bar to a certain place that companies who want to be successful will have to meet that bar. And that is going to lift all of us up, lift up all of our communities. And so we're excited about this, but also there's a lot of work to be done. There's roads that need to be built, schools that need to be built, medical facilities we need to expand. So this gives us a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to just look at the whole region. What are the regional needs that we can address by preparing ourselves for the jobs and opportunities and the people that'll be here as a result of Micron's investment? So that's what we're doing, talk about getting ready now. And that's where the Community Engagement Committee comes in. We want them to be sitting here today in 2023, envisioning the needs, the challenges, the opportunities, and help be a guiding force to make sure we achieve them. They'll work closely with Micron and all levels of government to ensure that all the needs of Central New York and upstate are met. Now, this is, again, as I mentioned, what sets us apart with our Green Chips bill, because local engagement and representation is part of the core of this. So they're going to be setting priorities. They'll have the Community Investment Fund. It's always nice to not just be a committee, but to have money to spend. And this is going to transform upstate. They're going to be investing in people and the communities as well as the whole region. So here's the numbers. $250 million commitment from Micron. That is extraordinary, and that deserves a round of applause right there. $100 million from the state of New York. Thank you, state of New York. And an effort to raise $150 million more. And this will be making contributions to help fulfill the priorities of this whole region. Training workers, improving educational opportunities, building housing that our workers can live in, and we need to build a lot of housing here, we know that. It's imperative that we have the local voices helping guide these decisions, and that's where I thank Micron again. They'll work on this, they'll have team members there, but also they'll be listening to the people who invested their lives here and have been successful and have been contributing in so many ways. Those are the people who comprise this committee. So they're going to meet regularly with local residents, make sure that the communities have a voice at every juncture, and the leaders that have been selected. This is the best. This is the best of the best. These are people who lead charitable organizations, people who lead religious organizations, people who teach our kids, people who stand up for the most vulnerable. To them, this is personal. This is a way they can continue giving back in their communities in ways they never anticipated. So I applaud each of these pillars of our community and tell you your participation is not just vital to decide where the money goes, but it's a statement of our commitment as a people, what we're focusing on, and you'll be the ones that bring that to fruition. So your work will be a catalyst that sparks lasting change. And we talk about the word transformation. This is a transformative moment in our history, and you will be the transformers. So thank you to everyone who said yes. I will continue working to make sure that this is not only a global chip manufacturing hub, which it certainly is and will be, but also change the future of our state. That's what's in our hands right now, and I thank you. And with that, I want to make sure that we introduce someone who has become a dear friend, Sanjay Matrova. You've changed all of our lives. And it's personal for me because I remember this community when it was kind of giving up on itself. Buffalo and Syracuse were very similar at the same times when I was a student here in the 1970s. The lake was polluted. I remember driving by on the Greyhound bus into a very scary bus station at the time as a 17-year-old. And I went past the lake like, why is no one swimming in it? Well, it's polluted. It's dead, basically. The smoke was rising up from the factories, a lot of abandoned storefronts. It was a frightening time, and people who grew up in that time didn't see that there'd ever be a future. And today there is a future, and that future is so bright. We're the envy of all the other states. And Sanjay, what you did by believing in us changed the psychology of a community as well. That's not easy to do, but you accomplished that. And as the leader of this great state, I'll be forever grateful for the effect that you and Micron have had on a place that I love so dearly. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the person of the hour, the person of the year, the person of the future, Sanjay Matrova.
Thank you, Governor. And the bright future that you have talked about would not have happened without the leadership and the support that you and the state of New York are providing to this project. We are super excited to be here. In fact, this morning, we visited the site here in Clay, the site where the rigs are there, some digging has started, and the purpose of that is to start environmental survey. The environmental survey is a critical first milestone for this project because this reflects how Micron is committed to building the site, building the facilities of the future that will not only produce the most advanced memory chips, most advanced semiconductor technology, bringing it to the world, but doing it in a sustainable, environmental friendly manner, and of course, supporting the communities as well. So Governor, your vision with respect to bringing green chips bill and supporting semiconductor manufacturing here in central New York, and as you noted, that yes, it's great for the whole state of New York, it's great for the country and for the world. So we are super excited to be here and really thankful for the support of all the agencies that we are partnering with in the state and the progress that just has been made in the last 6 months since President Biden visited the announcement of this facility of the future. We have made tremendous progress, and that would not be possible without our engagement with so many of the community members. This project is, yes, as the governor noted, $100 billion investment, and I'm so glad you corrected the National Economic Advisor, not $20 billion, $100 billion investment over 20 years. In this more than 1,000-acre site in Clay, over the course of these 20 years, there will be 4 fabs built. Each of these fabs will have 600,000 square feet of clean room. Overall, 2.4 million square feet of clean room. Do you know what that corresponds to? It corresponds to 40 football fields. That's how much of clean room will be built here. And that clean room involves the world's most advanced manufacturing, precision manufacturing. Micron is leading the way. Micron today is a clear technology leader in the world with our DRAM and flash memory. And what is DRAM and flash memory? This is the kind of memory that makes all the compute possible today. All the compute in your phone, in your PC, in the data center, in your car, none of this will work without memory being there. And you all know about ChatGPT, you know generative AI, you hear how AI is changing the world. This is barely the tip of the iceberg. This is going to transform the world, and guess what? Memory will be at the heart of it. Because without data, there is no artificial intelligence. More data means sharper, better, more meaningful insights. And more data means need for more memory. That's why we say that over the course of the decade, past in the second half of this decade, memory and storage will grow faster than the rest of the semiconductor industry. And yes, by the time 2030 comes along, over the course of next few years, we'll be building these fabs here, and we'll be supplying the world that memory. Billions of units of that memory will be built per year from these fabs here. And that then requires not only construction, moving in the tools to build this precision technology, and yes, large-scale production of memories, but it requires the community. It requires the workforce. It requires community engagement. We want to make Micron not just a great place to work here, we want to make Clay and the surrounding communities a great place to live and prosper here as well. And this is what Micron is committed to. And as the governor mentioned, thanks to her vision with the Green Chips Bill and the Community Investment Fund, Micron is investing $250 million as part of the $500 million commitment that the governor has led. And through this $250 million that Micron will be investing over 20 years, we are really pleased to partner with the Community Engagement Committee to help us decide that what are the best places so that our dollar can go the farthest in advancing the community. And as the governor noted, whether it is housing, whether it is education, whether it is transportation, just everything that's important to build a community that can thrive and prosper. Micron is committed to it. This is not new for Micron. This is in Micron's DNA. We really believe in diversity, equality, inclusion. We believe in supporting the communities where we operate in, and we get integrated with the community. We look forward to it here. We have already started that journey of commitment to the community with Northeast University ecosystem that was just announced recently. That involves universities such as Syracuse, SUNY, Clarkson, Rochester Institute of Technology, and many other universities, including Harvard and MIT, across the Northeast that are coming together to build a semiconductor curriculum that can help build the workforce of the future. You know that's going to be important. We are engaging with Onondaga Community College, supporting a clean room there so that we can train the workers of the future, the students of the future towards STEM education. Yes, to support the community here, to support the workforce here, but of course, support the workforce that is needed across the US in STEM over the coming years. We are supporting with $500,000 investment Museum of Science and Technology here to spark interest in sciences among the youth, among the children that will become our future. We are supporting YMCA with $500,000 as well for childcare, particularly childcare for underserved populations, because we know that in order to bring all parts of the community into the workforce, including women, it does require that we are paying special attention to the matters that are important to the families, and therefore 500,000 support to the Child Care Center here as well. These are just some of the examples, and we look forward to engaging with the Community Engagement Committee to come up with more opportunities for collaboration to transform the community here for the future. So with that, I would now like to bring April Arnson, our Senior Vice President of People here at Micron, and she has made, along with her team, many visits to this region over the course of last 6 months. I think many of you know her very well. You are very familiar with her. You'll see her more and more here, and she is going to share with you some of the exciting news about the Community Engagement Committee here as well. So thank you, and really looking forward to making Clay and the surrounding communities a shining example of the future, bringing advanced technology to the world and truly transforming the world and enriching life for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay, and thank you, Governor Hochul, for your inspiring words and really your vision. When we made our historic announcement last October to build a world-class semiconductor facility here in central New York, we also made commitments, some very bold commitments to the community to really develop the workforce and support the community, as Sanjay mentioned. And a lot of that work is going to be aimed in a few different areas. It's going to be aimed at STEM education. It's going to be aimed at workforce development training programs, things like childcare, housing, and other infrastructure investments needed to make sure that this historic opportunity that is in front of all of us really is accessible to everyone in the community, regardless of their background. So we're going to pay special attention to make sure that our investments are directed at those underserved and underrepresented populations so that we can lift up this entire community and everyone has an opportunity to participate in these careers, either directly at Micron or through all of the other jobs that will be out in the community. And these opportunities are going to change families for generations. These are generational opportunities that will be available to anyone who has the interest and wants to participate. So very important that we are very intentional about how we design this. And even though the first shovel is not in the ground yet, although there is some great work going on to prepare for that, we have to start our workforce development and our community investments now. And you will, as you get to know Micron, you will know we're an innovative company, we're a tenacious company, but we are about impact. We want to take action, we want to make impact. So there is action behind the words that we say. And I'm proud to report to you today, we've made some incredible progress already since the announcement last fall in October. As Sanjay mentioned, we announced a couple of weeks ago our Northeast Semiconductor University Network, a network of 28, and my team tells me and counting, that number continues to go up, universities, local and regional universities that will come together and share ideas and thoughts around curriculum design, identify ways that we can create experiential learning opportunities so we can expand the pipeline and making sure that we are capturing, again, rich diversity, whether it's women, people of color, veterans, or people from other underserved communities. We've got to make sure we do this right so that we have the opportunity to get to the scale that we need and really have the rich diversity that we need that's so very important to Micron and our innovation. This week, we convened for the third time our Future Ready Workforce Innovation Consortium. That is a group of education providers, training providers, community members, all sorts of community leaders coming together to think about the non-traditional pathways that are going to be needed, again, to really access and bring the full community along on this journey. We have to think about training differently. We need to scale up our traditional pathways, but we also need to create new pathways so that individuals can access this training. We need on-ramps and off-ramps so that if maybe they're ready for training to step into these careers for a couple of years and then they need to actually just work and spend some time working before they take more training, they've got the ability to go in and out of these training programs at their own pace so that they can be successful in these careers over the long haul. So thank you to all of you who are participating in our Workforce Consortium to really prepare and create the workforce of the future. We need all of you to come together and identify those new pathways. Yesterday, the county executive and the deputy mayor of Syracuse and I sat down with community leaders and childcare operators to tackle a really difficult issue, childcare. We know in order to really harness the full potential of this region, we've got to tackle some of these difficult issues, and childcare is at the top of the list. We got to spend some time really understanding what the challenges were, what the opportunities are, and I can tell you firsthand, there is some fantastic work already going on in the region, but clearly we've got more work to do, and I'm excited about Micron's ability to help amplify and accelerate the child care work that needs to be done here so that we can make sure we bring everyone into the workforce who wants to be part of it. And as Sanjay said, so often it's the women that aren't able to participate fully in the workforce because of child care barriers. We want everyone to be part of this, so we will be tackling child care as well. So some great work yesterday in talking about how we move that forward. So years before our first employee even walks through the front doors of our amazing Central New York facility that is going to be built, we are making progress here already. And I'm proud that today we are announcing yet another milestone, an incredible milestone, and I'm very excited about this Community Engagement Committee. This Community Engagement Committee, it's been a partnership between Micron and Empire State Development, so Hope and Kevin and the team have really helped us think about how we can shape this Community Engagement Committee so that they can really develop and guide our strategies, give us input to make sure that all of our resources, all of our dollars we're investing, that $250 million, is really put to good use and is directed in the places that this community needs to make a difference. This Community Engagement Committee will be comprised of 15 diverse representatives from Central New York and Micron, and includes community members, it includes representatives of local governments, it includes community-based organizations, philanthropic leaders, education, faith-based, tribal, and veterans organizations, as well as just the business community at large. So as you can imagine, this is going to be a dream team. This team is going to help us really identify the right opportunities for Micron to invest in this community. So I'm honored to be part of this committee, and I'm also honored and thrilled to introduce the two co-chairs who will be leading this Community Engagement Committee, Melanie Littlejohn and Tim Penix. Melanie is the Vice President of Customer and Community Engagement for National Grid. She leads external affairs and customer and stakeholder engagement, building and maintaining customer relationships and promoting the safety and reliability of the energy network. Tim is the Vice President of SUNY Syracuse Educational Opportunity Center. Tim has implemented numerous scholarships for students and administered programs to promote access and diversity. He's also responsible for all aspects of the operations at the Syracuse program, including instruction, student support, services, facility management, and personnel and fiscal affairs. So together, again, talk about a dream team. We've got two leaders who are going to lead the way. Tim and Melanie have incredible knowledge, incredible expertise, and frankly, I've had some time to spend with both of them, and they are impressive leaders, and I look forward to a lot of great work ahead. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Melanie.
Thank you, April. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Sanjay, and all of Team Micron, and certainly our county exec. What a transformative moment. What a transformative moment are we in? Tim and I are honored with the creation of this Community Engagement Committee. And our commitment to all of you and to Micron and to the Governor of New York is to walk hand in hand together to maximize this unbelievable transformative moment that we are in today. So, Governor, a huge thank you to you. I have to say, from the very moment, your focus has never left being focused on this local community, and for that, I say thank you. This project is an amazing example of economic opportunities that are growing our clean energy economy here in New York. And Micron, you will create thousands, tens of thousands of jobs that will fuel the future, not just at your facilities, but at every corner of Central New York. So thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for your leadership in picking the right place to come. Thank you. And Tim and I are beyond thrilled to work with this exceptional group of community leaders who, together with Micron, Empire State Development, and leaders throughout Central New York, our commitment is to ensure opportunities this project will create will be accessible to local residents, including the traditionally underrepresented communities. And Tim and I have worked together for decades. And we've worked together for decades on workforce development, and we know that Micron's comprehensive approach to workforce development, from everything from education to training programs to investment in childcare and transportation and affordable housing, that brings it all together. It is a focus on how to be successful, and it will open doors and keep doors open. And this work will build rewarding and family sustainable careers that will improve and strengthen the economic vitality of this region. From my very, very first meetings with Micron, I have been extraordinarily impressed with their commitment to the community. Everywhere we turned, Micron was here engaging and using words and actions to underscore their commitment to the community. So, when it comes to building New York's clean energy future, investing in communities is just as important as investing in new tech. And clearly, folks, Clearly, Micron knows this. And so companies like my own, National Grid, we are so proud to support this incredible project that will drive long-term and sustainable, and I said sustainable, equitable economic growth to this region. So I hope all of you will get on board, and we look forward to working with every aspect of this community to make it the best place to live, work, and to do business here in Central New York. Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Melanie. And it is an honor to be selected with these extremely talented and gifted individuals who have a track record of working to have a positive impact in Central New York community. Thank you, Governor Hochul, Sanjay, for putting together the teams. We call it Team Micron and ESD. They've been diligent in getting the ideal team for this effort starting out. And echoing Melanie's comments, being in our community and becoming a part of our community in a short period of time. And for allowing me to play a role in this effort that our children's children will be talking about. That's deep to me. When I think of my grandparents who came to upstate New York, Rome, New York, in the late 20s from Mississippi for opportunity. And now, I'm gonna get, maybe I made the wrong great-greats, but their great-great-great-great-grandchildren will be able to stay in Central New York because there's opportunity. That is powerful. So I am tasked with this wonderful ability to now introduce the members. Many of you know them because these members are already in our community and they already have that proven track record. But I will like to introduce them and have them stand while I introduce them, if that's okay. April Arnzen, from Senior Vice President of Chief Personnel for Micron. And as Melanie and I have said, she's already in our community. Karen Belcher, Executive Director of the Food Bank of Central New York, could not be here today. She had an emergency with the family. Dr. Donna Desiato, Superintendent of Schools of East Syracuse Manoa School District. Bishop Ronald Dewberry, Senior Pastor and Co-Founder of New Life Temple of Praise. Christy Eck, Chief of Staff, SUNY Oswego. Courtney Getteldig, Corporate VP for Global Public at Micron. Mark Hall, President and CEO of Syracuse Community Health. Mark also couldn't be here. Jacenko Mondum, Employment Specialist, Refugee Assistance Program, Syracuse. Meg O'Connell, Executive Director of the Allen Family Foundation. Hazel Paulus from the Onondaga Nation. Carrie Quaglia, CEO of Home Headquarters. Sheena Solomon, Executive Director of the Gifford Foundation. Rob Beard, Senior Vice President, Micron. Isabella Harris, Director of Strategic Initiatives at Onondaga County. Sharon Owens, Deputy Mayor, City of Syracuse. Damian Ulatowski, Supervisor of Town of Clay. Kevin Eunice, Executive Deputy Commissioner of Empire State Development. For the community, that's the CEC, Community Engagement Community. Community Engagement Committee, excuse me.
Thanks, Tim, and thank you, the CEC, proud to work alongside of all of you. And to give us final comments, and certainly he doesn't need much of an introduction, but our county exec, Ryan McMahon.
Good morning, everybody. This is just a great day. It's a great feeling. As we go through these every step of the way, when you've been in this and you've been living it, you reflect and you think of everything that's occurred. I really want to acknowledge Sanjay, April, Scott, the Micron team, and our new family members here in Onondaga County and Central New York, all of New York, to the governor's point. I do want to just reflect as we move forward, and we've transitioned from the grueling but amazing site selection process that we all lived through. We always knew that we had the best site in North America, and we had to invest and get it ready, and we did that quickly. And we always knew that to be able to win this type of investment, that the state of New York needed to be able to compete at a high level. And certainly the governor with green chips and the legislature that helped support that legislation, that put us in an opportunity to compete at the state level, which we needed to do. And then with Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand and the president and Congressman Katko, for our local congressional members, supported the CHIPS Act, the dominoes started to fall in place. But in that process, we knew that if the business deal could make sense for Micron to do this and make this investment in our country, and then it could make sense to do it in New York and at White Pine, the one thing we always had was you, the community, because we knew that Scott, and we knew that April, and we knew that Manish, and we knew that your teams, and we knew that Sanjay fell in love with all of you, and if we could just get it back to you, that we would be successful. And to give you an idea about how special what we're talking about here is in scale to what else is happening around the country, and to give you a little bit of the behind-the-scene negotiations that were going on in the governor's blue room in the Capitol, we negotiated a lot before we talked about this proposal. But the easiest negotiation, the easiest part of that was what we're talking about today. And I want to acknowledge Kevin and Rob and Hope for your unique roles in those negotiations. And certainly on the other end, Rob Beard was, the Micron side was doing that. But this was the easiest part. And think about that. A company, in addition to creating thousands of jobs, 50,000 jobs in the ecosystem, $100 billion invested in our community, the largest project in the history of New York, but the largest commitment in the history of our country, like that wasn't enough. What they were investing was $250 million from Micron, not the Micron Foundation, which you all have gotten to know members of their team. From Micron, every other project in the country, there is not another company that has done this. There are other companies that have tried, and there's a project going on in Ohio, but they are not investing $250 million back in us. That's uniquely special. And I'm so pleased with the team that's been assembled here today. Those same community members here, they're going to help us, to April's point, prepare our community for this opportunity, the greatest opportunity any community has ever had in our country, to change the trajectory for our kids, to bring people back. Those same folks right over here, they've been doing the work for years, and they know what to do, and they're going to be great advisors to Micron. And we got to do it, and we'll do it together. The way we set up a historical bipartisan team to get this project, we will take that bipartisan spirit, move forward, and we'll make sure that every person in this community can feel this project and feels part of this project. So that's it, folks. It's time to get to work. God bless all of you. Governor, thank you for being here. Sanjay, thank you for being here. Take care.
Thank you for joining us today. Please enjoy the rest of your day.